Hello and welcome back to the Council Goatmen. Today we're hopefully on the final episode of Crimson Gray. We last left off where we just escaped Lizzie's basement, or rather, she let us out. And I guess we're gonna face the repercussions of that now. I guess. In the morning, John felt surprisingly refreshed. He made sure to take the meds that Lizzie had sent with him, since they seemed to have worked well so far. When he went to school, he would have to ask Miss Smythe her opinion, because despite the absurdity of it all, they were still going to have to go to school. Lizzie wasn't waiting for him outside his house, which was probably a good thing, he decided. he decided. The walk to the school in the crisp air gave him time to focus. Not that he reached any profound conclusions, but by the time he reached school, he at least felt reasonably okay. He didn't spot Lizzie at all, but when he opened his locker, he discovered a folded note in the center. It said,
"Good morning, John."
surrounded by hearts. Despite himself, John smiled a little. When he looked up, he saw Lizzie around a nearby corner, and she smiled back before vanishing. He drifted through several classes. Today, wasn't too different from the other students, since they were all back from vacation and unfocused. None of the teachers tried to make them do very much. After school, he headed to Miss Smythe's office, not entirely sure what he was going to say. After so long away, however, he definitely felt like he could use some counseling. Now, I know what happens here, so we're going to do a quick little savey save.
Okay.
He definitely felt like he could use some counseling. John, I hope you had a good vacation. It's okay. You? Spent the entire time working, I'm afraid. I actually tried to call you, but it seems you weren't home. Yeah, I was busy. Sorry. Oh, it's fine. I just hope you haven't lost any of our progress. Why don't you lie down and we can get started right away? He got onto the couch, but things didn't go as smoothly as usual. Miss Smythe was doing her best, but he just couldn't concentrate. It didn't take a genius to know the reason. He needed to decide exactly what he's going to do. If he wanted protection from the police, this would be the best chance to ask for it securely. Or even if he skipped some details, Miss Smythe might be able to provide some help of some kind. I'm just going to save again. Just Or maybe he shouldn't tell her anything. It all worked out for the best, hadn't it? Something on your mind, John? ... Alright, we're going to tell her the truth, because that's what I picked first.
Okay.
So, actually, I'm afraid of Lizzie. She's, I don't know what, but there's something really wrong with her. Afraid? Are you concerned she might harm you or someone else? Has she issued an actual threat? ... I'm not trying to dismiss your concerns, John. In fact, I'm very willing to act on them. However, without evidence, it might be better to contact authority. Koitak has measures that...
No! John, why? Why would you betray me?
Lizzie...
Wait. Oh, I thought it was literally just doing dun 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 dun. I thought it was fucking Mars.
Oh.
Then you lied to me. I thought I could trust you now. Stop that!
While Lizzie had been focused on him, Miss Smythe had been quietly removing something from her desk. She hesitated when Lizzie looked at her, but then kept moving.
This is your fault. You wanted to take him away from me.
Now, Lizzie, calm down. There's no need to make wild accusations. We can all... Lizzie leapt across the room, her knife flashing at Miss Smythe's throat. To John's shock, the older woman actually dodged back, out of the way of the slash.
Damn,
just
Dark Souls.
It's fucking rude to call her old. Not only that, but her hand came up from her desk, carrying a syringe that she attempted to plunge straight into Lizzie's chest. But Lizzie was faster, bringing her knife down on the other woman's wrist. But other woman... You know her name. Smythe gave a cry of pain and dropped the syringe.
Damn,
and then it was too late.
Not even her Dark Souls experience was enough.
Lizzie's next slash went straight through her throat, carrying a spray of blood with it before the rest began to flow down her neck. Lizzie turned towards him slowly. Her face was covered in blood, but he was more concerned about the emptiness growing in her eyes.
I should have just ended it quietly. We could have been happy.
Lizzie, what are you doing?
I'm sorry, John. There's nothing else I can say to you.
She rushed at him just as he had known she would, but he didn't have the energy to dodge. It didn't matter. She was going to get him in the end anyway. It hurt, but not as much as he had been expecting. He stared at the blood flowing down his body with no real emotion. Weeping, Lizzie leaned forward to kiss him. Her lips were strangely warm. No, it was just that his body was growing warm as the blood rushed out of it. The warmth increased, dissolving what remained of his thoughts, and then it was very cold, but not for long. Hooray!
Dead.
Alright, so clearly, thank you for joining us for Crimson Gray. I think we won. let's hint. I'm just worried about Lizzie. She seems a little emotionally unstable. Unstable? How exactly? It's hard to put my finger on, but what you said about earlier got me thinking, but I'm not sure I feel safe about all the time. But are you still? Oh my god, I can't speak. But you two are still dating, I guess. Then it probably isn't too serious. If she had a severe condition, she probably wouldn't be able to form normal bonds at all. She clearly does. Miss Smythe, do you know something I don't? Just thinking out loud. Apparently, Miss Smythe thought he was doing better because she ended their session early and let him go home. On his way out, he spotted Lizzie watching him from the shadows. He smiled at her and she smiled back, but that was all.
Now Miss Smythe's about to die.
And for now, that was enough. John started walking. The school year got away from him a little. Despite everything he'd been through, John found himself returning to something like a routine. He spent some time with Lizzie, but they didn't do anything too intense, just shorter fun dates, nothing too romantic. The sky still looked very gray to him, but he felt lighter than he had in a long time. On occasion, he still headed to the library to try and look up more about Koitek, to see if he could find out more about Lizzie's condition. It wasn't going terribly well. All he had to do was go on was old microfilm and random ideas, which was part of why he brought Lizzie, but she seemed uninterested. Eventually, he sat back and tapped his fingers on the desk, wondering if it was worth continuing. Lizzie, when I was at your house, you made some pretty strong statements about Koitek. Do you know anything about them?
No, I'm sorry, John. I can't really help you. ... It's just a feeling. A strong feeling. Not as strong as the sense that you were the one I was looking for, but I'm certain that they don't want what's best.
Sure, but does any corporation?
This is different.
After that, though, she couldn't explain herself any further. Seeing she didn't like the topic of conversation, John decided to let it go. It's not like we can learn anything meaningful about them. I mean, we're just a couple of kids. It's not like their secrets will be printed in a local paper. Ugh, I burped right at the end. Local paper. Well, we can leave it. We have more immediate concerns, don't we?
Yes, actually, I had something I've been wanting to ask you. The county fair is coming up next month. Can we go together?
Well, I've always thought it was kind of a cheap event, but maybe it wouldn't be so bad with you. Aww.
Yay! I look forward to it.
There's such a healthy relationship. I bet nothing bad will ever happen. It was only later that John remembered something one of his classmates said. Or some of his classmates said. Elementary schoolers went to the fair to play games. Middle schoolers went for the roller coasters. And high schoolers went to get laid. Was that what Lizzie had been meaning to imply? Had he just signed up for more than he realized? But over the next several days, she didn't act any differently and just seemed to look forward to it with innocent anticipation, so it felt awkward to bring up. And the longer he didn't mention it, the stranger it got. And so day by day, they eventually reached the date of the county fair. Lizzie met him at the edge of the fair, shifting from foot to foot eagerly. Her face lit up when she saw him, and she immediately hurried to meet him.
Oh, you're finally here! This is going to be so much fun!
I'm glad to spend time with you, but honestly, I haven't gone to the fair in a few years.
Oh, I'm sure we'll have fun. Besides, the important thing is that people see us together.
Okay. What?
Dating doesn't really count unless a guy is willing to go to the fair with you. Guys don't talk like that.
No.
What?
No, but I'm happy to be seen with you.
Yay! Let's go see what all they have. Guys don't talk about makeup and sleepovers.
There's such a weird
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I think Lizzie might be a little bit socially distraught, but yeah, I mean that's just my opinion. I don't know anything.
If your man doesn't take you to the fair, he doesn't love you.
Yeah, remember,
That's
lady.
just sorry, guys. That's how it is.
There is nothing more badass than respecting a woman. For a while, they just wandered, checking out all the attractions. Since the fair was still getting started up, it was easy to grab some food and cotton candy. Is cotton candy not food? Which Lizzie happily fed him pieces of while they walked.
Saying specifically, they had to mention cotton candy so that they could say because she was feeding him the cotton candy. Also, no, that's just sugar.
Thinking about what being there together meant for her, John realized that he didn't mind. After everything they had been through, boyfriend and girlfriend felt like cheap words. Slut was way more fitting.
Psycho bitch.
He felt like the hardest stretch had been behind him. Yeah, I mean, every relationship goes through the locked in the basement phase. I mean, it's just something you gotta get through, but once you do it, it's just so magically beautiful. He'd seen Lizzie at her worst.
That's a way to put it. That's a way to put it.
Babe, I seen you at your worst when you locked me up in your basement. I know this is really bad.
If you don't love me when I lock you in the basement, you don't deserve me.
Yeah, you tell her. You tell him. He would be happy to be with her at her best.
Ooh, is that a knife throwing booth?
Yo, that's a normal thing to have at a fair. ...
But we don't have to.
Yeah, I did that right.
But we don't have to visit. Come on, let's go this way.
Instead, Lizzie directed them towards a high striker booth. John kind of marveled at it. He'd seen them in pictures, but he hadn't been sure that they actually existed
It
anymore.
was a high
I have
strike.
no fucking
Is it the
idea.
fucking like the comically large hammer game?
It's when you get stoned.
Yeah, it is. It is.
What? Oh.
It is the comically large hammer game where you hit the thing and it goes ding when it hits the.
I thought it was when you get stoned and then you hit
Go on strike.
and yeah. All right. Glad I can make a stoner joke in like the first 10 minutes. Some classmates he barely recognized were trying their luck at the moment, swinging the hammer high overhead and bringing it down onto the target as hard as they could. None of them got the slider more than halfway to the bell.
Because that shit's so rigged.
John, try it.
Man, is there even any point? I'm gonna suck.
Oh, but try.
Giving in, he inserted his coin. That's not the only thing he's gonna insert. Just lifting the hammer felt almost too heavy for him, but Lizzie was watching, and so he couldn't give up. John brought the hammer down as fast as he could. It felt like a strong blow, but the slider barely moved up a quarter of the distance. Some of his watching classmates laughed. See, I'm pathetic.
No, you just haven't learned how to use your string. Here,
Watch
let me
her.
help you.
She fucking slams the hammer down and fucking bursts. and,
knocks the bell off,
yeah.
goes into the
the
stratosphere.
the bell hits the moon.
I'm
You're
pissing
on them.
She slid up behind him, wrapping her arms around his and changing his grip on the hammer. With their bodies so close to his, though his watching classmates stopped laughing.
See, you need to throw your body into it. So set your feet like this. Shift your hips a little.
He felt like a little doll being moved by her like that, but the pose she put him into it did feel better. More of his body would be behind the swing now.
Good, good. Now try again.
She backed away, and John took a deep breath. If he sucked again, he was going to feel absolutely worthless, but no, he couldn't let himself think that. Instead, he brought the hammer down as hard as he could. To his surprise, it actually made it most of the way up. It didn't ring the bell, but it was better than he'd seen anyone else do.
See? Good job.
She seemed absolutely elated, even with just his mildly improved performance. But despite himself, John found that his mood was improved. They walked away together, ignoring the watchers entirely. I'm surprised you know so much about this kind of thing.
Oh, hammers are interesting. They're just very, very messy.
Haha, I should have known better than to ask. My girlfriend's a
Oh,
psychopath.
you!
You murdering people in the basement. Oh, have a good guffaw. There was a moment of hesitation in her eyes, but she saw his smile and then returned it. At another booth, Lizzie managed to toss every single ring onto the furthest pin. That one or a giant stuffed bear, which she just laughed at and gave him to hold. For a while, he was having a great time, but then still carrying the bear, he heard an unpleasant snicker. Are you fucking serious? You two came here to play with stuffed animals? You came to play with stuffed animals? No, I won a prize at the fair. We're at a fucking fair, you fucking idiot. One of his classmates was there with his girlfriend, pawing at her chest while she giggled and swatted at his hands. Haha, touching women without consent. Anyway, they both leered at John and Lizzie holding hands. I mean, what are you, 12? What, you have a girlfriend? Hey, babe. It's like the classmates are so fucking retarded.
They're such.
Once taunts might have bothered him, but now John didn't care. Yeah, he fucking taunts him and he just goes, he throws his cap like Mario, like Smash Brothers. Never mind. But now John didn't care. He didn't have even any desire to prove that his friends was wrong. When he
Did that say his friends? That his friends was
it
wrong?
said his friend. I fucked up. I'm just stupid. Sorry.
Why are you? Is he still friends with
that motherfucker?
I don't fucking know why he's still friend. When he thought about everything he had been through with Lizzie and felt her squeeze his hand, he just didn't care. Well, my girlfriend's gonna fucking murder you, so.
Come on, let's ditch these losers.
Great choice of voice. His classmate's girlfriend led them away, and John didn't really care about that either. When he gave Lizzie a smile, though, she seemed a little irked. Great word. You can just ignore them, you know.
Yes, but that won't be satisfying. Come on this way.
I love that you can totally tell she's talking about murder, and it goes, Puerta! She dragged him into a narrow alleyway between two stalls. A little ways down, there was a closed-off space in between several of the temporary stalls.
Bro, what the?
Fucking her smirk is so sexy. Holy shit. Look at that sexy smirk, dude. Surrounded on three sides, the sounds of the fair seemed softer. He became very aware of how alone they were as Lizzie slid off her jacket.
Hey, yo.
Hey, bro, what the?
I'm not reading that.
Say that one line, come on.
You want to do something not childish at all?
Yes, I think I do. I know I can be a difficult girlfriend sometimes, but I want you to show you that I can be nice too.
Yeah, so I'm not reading these lines. It's gonna be lame.
Okay, we're gonna have to blur that.
Yeah.
She dropped to her knees and began teasing at the zipper around his pants. He let out a sharp breath as she managed to pull out his.
Let's just move. Let's move on.
His pretzel sticks. Just relax. I'll take good care of you. I'm so sorry. The air was chilly, but her breath felt incredibly warm. Despite the cold, he found himself getting hard.
Just move on.
Leaning upward, she slid her around his and he couldn't
YouTube
help.
is gonna flag this for softcore porn. We're gonna have to move on.
If you blur it, it's fucking Markiplier played Honey Pop.
Yeah, but it wasn't in depth. There was no in depth descriptions of what was happening.
They talk about masturbating a lot in that game.
Yeah, but like this is like describing every detail.
Okay.
They're like we're gonna have to just skip because we're gonna have to cut this out anyway.
No, I'm not cutting it out. It's important to the story. Okay. I'm here for the gameplay. Okay. Alright. I will barf out the words that I'm censoring them with my voice. So leaning upward, she slid her around his and he couldn't help but they were so soft and warm compared to the air. Lizzie leaned down and kissed the head of his lightly. Then he began to move, slowly at first, but the sight of her wrapped around him was so intense that his began leaking. As they grew slicker, she began to speed up. You can come as fast as you want, or we can go as long as you want. Just enjoy this. The sight of her face smiling up at him while she was giving him up was too much. John had to look away. After a while, he decided not to fight it, just watched her and enjoyed the sensation. Her felt impossibly soft, yet pressed together lightly. But what really drove him over the edge was the pleasure she was taking in it. Lizzie clearly enjoyed sliding her along his murmuring appreciatively about his Oh, okay. Lizzie bent down.
I hate this.
I'm sorry. Lizzie bent down, sliding her lips around the head of his She explored him with her tongue for a while before beginning to suck softly, still sliding her around his length. Overloaded with so much, John soon felt a throbbing deep inside him. Lizzie seemed to sense that he was close and wrapped her lips around his tip. When her tongue flickered out again, it was too much. The throbbing became a pulse, shooting through his and directly into her mouth. Lizzie eagerly drank it all as if it was the sweetest nectar. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. When he was done, Lizzie suckled him gently for a little longer, then pulled away, wiped her mouth, and smiled at him. I smiled at him angelically. Alright, it's over. You good?
No,
You-
I'm scarred for life.
But
I've
it's
seen
kinda
some
hot.
shit, but that was.
But it was kind of hot, though. But, like, it was kind of
I hate the fact that it was. Oh my god.
He leaned back against the wall, needing a moment to catch his breath. Lizzie seemed to have no trouble, fixing her shirt and then rising to give him a hug. Wow. That felt amazing.
I'm not reading that one.
Good. I liked it too. Maybe you can do more of this sometime.
Shut the fuck up.
The cold air forced him to step away with her, soon to get his back into his pants before it froze. Still, he felt warm, and not just in a sexual way. Soon they headed back out of the alley. John felt like everyone must have noticed, but no one even looked at them. Actually, things outside seemed different. He frowned and glanced at Lizzie, who paused for a moment, then nodded. Is something wrong?
The sounds in the distance aren't normal. There's too much tension.
As soon as she said it, he realized that she was right. It didn't sound like people talking and having fun. They were upset about something. Without needing to discuss it, they headed toward the source of the commotion. Soon they arrived at a densely packed group of people clustered around a line of police tape. He could see a few cops moving within it, and spitting lights lit the entire scene in strange colors, but he couldn't tell what had happened. Lizzie shook her head, muttering something to herself, not sure how to help her. John found a familiar face in the crowd, and tapped her shoulder. Hey, what's going on? Oh, okay. This classmate's a girl, apparently. It is okay.
Oh, God, it's horrible. Someone from our school was killed.
What? Who?
His face was taken off entirely. They're still trying to identify him.
Oh shit! Do they know who did it?
They say it. I can't believe this, but they said it was a girl from our school. She stabbed 2 of the police officers, like with a knife. They had to be rushed to the hospital.
Whoa! What about her?
They shot her, seriously. Or at
You
least
sound
that's
like
what I
Koichi
heard.
now.
Koichi
But yeah, Koichi.
from JoJo.
Yeah, I always have to remember Koichi is JoJo, and then Ketchiro is Ghost Stories, and I always like intertwine the two names.
Or at least that's what I heard. I just got here in time to see the body before they covered it up, but I didn't see the violent part.
I don't know what voice I'm doing, by the way.
It's like a mix of Ketchiro and Marge.
I'm just like I was like, okay, brain, think of a voice, go, and that was the voice I went with.
Mhm.
I see. He wanted to back away in any case, but Lizzie was tugging on his arm. John needed a quick goodbye and let her drag him away from the crowd.
John,
Lizzie, do you know something about this?
you know it wasn't me, right? You trust me, don't you?
I mean, she was with him.
I'm not worried about that. You were with me the entire time. But do you know something?
Okay, exactly.
There was another girl. Not like me, but similar.
In our school? Really?
Her mother knew Abby. They got kicked out of a Koitek program together.
For the same reason? Being pregnant? Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
I never liked her. We never really spoke, but I think she could have been capable of this.
Then what do we do? Before she could answer, several unmarked vehicles drove up right into the fairground. The men that emerged from them wore blank uniforms that meant nothing to John, but it immediately filled him with a sense of dread.
What
In a-
is happening?
I don't
What-
fucking know.
What
dude.
has this become?
In a matter of minutes, they were everywhere. The police were patrolling more seriously. The strange men had taken over the crime scene, and the atmosphere had become tense.
John?
We should go.
Exactly.
She went with him to his door, and he kissed her goodnight. But they both knew that things weren't all right. Not yet. With a cloud of uncertainty hanging over them, he had a very difficult time falling asleep. In the morning, for once John felt brighter than everyone else. The school had the flag at half-mast in the morning, and the class was canceled so they could have a special assembly about the incident. It seemed to have shaken everyone else to the core, but John felt fine. He'd seen it happen, seen what Lizzie did, but he just felt comfortably numb.
I have become comfortably
Did
numb.
Crimson Grey just made a Pink Floyd reference? I bet that renewed your faith in the game, right?
No,
Oh.
I'm glad they made a Pink. Well, not a Pink Floyd reference. Not. It's a Pink Floyd song, which is cool, but I still am not very happy with the game.
I don't know what ruined it for you. Was there some specific event that made you uncomfortable? Or... Of course, even at his brightest, he didn't exactly look happy, so no one gave him a second thought. Most students were wrapped up in themselves anyway. After school, he received a note from Miss Smythe saying he should come to talk to her, come in to talk about how he felt about the whole thing. Not really necessary, but he appreciated her concern. Until he got inside. Lizzie sat in a chair, obviously uncomfortable, while Miss Smythe sat nearby, sorting through several bottles of Koitek drugs. Ah, John, glad you could make it. Sure, why is Lizzie here? There are a lot of traumatized couples in the wake of the incident. I thought I should do some counseling so no one makes decisions they regret. Oh, thank you. Is that really necessary? While he spoke, he managed to catch Lizzie's eye. All he saw there was uncertainty, but she was hard to read. Go ahead, John. Sit down. I hope this hasn't been too hard on you. I'm not hard yet. I'm managing. It's hard to believe. The re- the reality was probably set in increasingly overtime. What?
The reality will probably
Probably. Sorry, I was like my brain read that sentence like 5 times. I'm like, what the fuck is it trying to say? I think it might actually be good to increase your dosage.
Why does he need to take more?
Lizzie, you have to understand. John isn't well.
There's nothing wrong with him. He just needs a little help.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. That's what she said. That's true, though. Now that you speak up, Lizzie, have you ever considered taking some medication yourself? Your behavior could probably
This
use
is where
some,
she does.
You could probably use some normalizing. Well, what is that supposed to mean? I'm talking to her, not you. Lizzie, would you be willing to take a few medications?
I'm,
Yeah, okay. Why is she fine with this? ...
I was afraid of that. Whoa, her fucking eyes. Look at them. Without warning, Miss Smythe stuck Lizzie's arm with something that glinted silver. He only saw a glimpse of what looked like a syringe before Miss Smythe pulled back and it was hidden in her sleeve. The effect on Lizzie was instantaneous. She grimaced and dropped to the floor, gripping her arm. John tried to go over to her, but Miss Smythe moved to stop him. You should stay away. She isn't stable. What the hell did you do to her? There was nothing but confirmation of what I already suspected, John. I'm sorry, but Lizzie is not a normal girl.
no way.
What? What? This whole game she's been like perfectly normal. What?
How did you know? How did you know?
You reading my mind, man. Yeah, I don't know. That was a plot twist. I wasn't expecting this. Shut up. Don't say that. No, you don't understand. She was exposed to the same chemicals as the murderer last night. Without heavy medication, there's no way she can be normal. But she said she would take it. She lied. I don't know how, but she somehow gained a degree of stability. Without any moral compass, that makes her far more dangerous. I'm sorry, John, but she needs to be sedated for her own good.
Aha! A sedative? Maybe for you?
Laughing wildly, Lizzie lunged forward. Her knife flickered out and stabbed Miss Smythe's chest. The older woman stared in shock, struggling. Why does he saying the older woman? You know her name. Struggling with Lizzie's arm, but couldn't prevent the second stab, or the third, or the fourth. John could only stare in horror as Lizzie stabbed her over and over again. His mind was completely and utterly blank. Still stabbing repeatedly, Lizzie looked up at him. She gave a tearful smile, broken by the occasional laugh.
I'm sorry, John. It's too strong.
It's in my mind.
Lizzie, what's going on?
The drug she gave me. I won't be able to hold back. If I stay, it'll hurt you. I couldn't live with myself if that happened. I'm sorry, John. I have to go away.
Oh no! Meanwhile, on his head, he's like, "Yeah, celebrate good time." Away, but
Do you love me, John?
no. I mean, yeah. I love you, Lizzie.
I'm so happy. I love you too. Forever.
And then Lizzie sliced through her own throat.
Oh.
John stared in horror as her body slumped to the ground, light going out of her eyes. He wasn't sure how long he stood there. Somehow, by the time they found him, he was holding her body and weeping. He couldn't feel the tears or hear anything they said. The events of the following days barely penetrated the gray fog filling his mind. There was an investigation. He was declared just a victim. Everyone offered him sympathy that they had never offered before, and he didn't care. Everyone chose to forget about the string of murders and got back to their lives, leaving him kneeling with her body until the world was nothing but an endless gray. Game over.
I think Fall Out Boy said it best. Love, sex, death.
Hope glimmers stronger on another path. Restart the game for a better result.
No, that's the best result. Except
Okay.
for that one part.
So, controversial take, but I actually think we're gonna end the series here. I think this is gonna be the finale. If you want the good ending, feel free to play this game. Try and find it for yourself. It's only $10. It's on Steam and itch.io. But yeah, I think someone, not me, but I'm not naming names, is a little bit tired of this game. Um, and also, for you horny viewers, there is another sex scene, so try and find that one. Good
You're
luck
a
with that.
sick fuck.
So, if you want that, there's also that for you. So, or you can just look it up. Anyway, we'll see you next time on the Council of Goatman. Goodbye, everybody.